at the municipal building. Handling surprise should be complimented, and I want to thank them very much for that. Members of the public are invited to participate in this meeting by accessing the meeting, which will be streamed live on the Southwest Middlesex YouTube channel. Members of the public were supposed to attend this evening, but due to unforeseen circumstances, we regret that we could not meet at 153 McKellar Street. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof among any members of council? Seeing none, we'll move on. Delegations and presentations. We're delighted to have Eric Steele and Jay McGuffin with us this evening. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to Southwest Middlesex. We look forward to your presentation. This review is overdue, and we're in terms of our governance, and we look forward to your vision and the input from council and the public on this. So please take it away, gentlemen. You have the floor at this time.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'll share my screen. I'd like to welcome members of council and staff to the council workshop this evening. And so the purpose of the meeting today is to be able to have the opportunity to review comments and some further information that's been received to date, arising from consultation conducted thus far during the official plan review process. And also provide the opportunity for council to reflect on proposed changes to the official plan that have been recommended, as well as to inform council of next steps and address any questions arising from events of the meeting today. Just to sort of illustrate where we are in the process, so we previously had the project launch back in end of April, as well as a special council meeting at the end of June. And so now looking forward, after today's meeting, I'm proceeding to a statutory public meeting on August 24th, as required under the Planning Act. And if the official plan is approved, subsequent adoption by this council, as well as a final approval by the county of Middlesex at an undetermined date. In terms of providing just an overview of, I guess, some comments received, as well as some additional policy changes that have been included since the special council meeting that was held in June, sorry. First is MDS guidelines do require setbacks between agricultural uses and cemeteries. However, changes to the MDS guidelines now allow for exemptions to be made for certain cemeteries that are either closed or cemeteries that do have a place of worship. And this is just a result of the classification of what cemeteries are. MDS guidelines currently require or classify cemeteries as a type B use. And what this means is that these are considered more sensitive uses and therefore would have potentially higher MDS setbacks. And so in this case, it allows for certain cemeteries that are closed or don't have a place of worship on the same property, and therefore would be likely to have less human activity on those properties to be considered a type A use, which is less sensitive, provided that the official plan allows for this exemption. And so as part of the proposed changes, this would include a policy that would allow for a certain set of cemeteries, which are explicitly listed in the official plan, to be exempt from MDS, or to be exempt from type B use setbacks. Additionally, the MDS guidelines do require setbacks for building permit applications. And so as part of changes to the MDS guidelines, there now allows exemptions for MDS 1 setbacks for building permits on lots that were existing prior to March 1st, 2017, and are currently vacant. And these exemptions would take place through a municipal zoning bylaw and contain criteria for those exemptions. However, before that can take place, the official plan must include policies to allow for this type of exemption as well. And so proposed policies would also, again, allow for municipal zoning bylaws to provide exemptions if council deemed they want to proceed with that as an amendment to their zoning bylaw. It also requires that the municipal zoning bylaw include regulations regarding ensuring that the lots are indeed vacant, that they have been existing prior to March 1st, 2017, as well as specifically outlining what types of buildings and building permit applications would be exempt from MDS 1 setbacks. The topic of biosolids was raised at the special council meeting, and so as a result of that, council staff have directed that policies be added within the agricultural section of the Southwest Middlesex official plan that regulate these types of uses. And so proposed changes have been made that would be identical to, as well as conformity with, the proposed county official plan update, which was recently adopted by County of Middlesex, and I think has gone to the province for final approval. And finally, some minor changes to the staff to review the municipal design standards as relating to different types of infrastructure. And so as a result, there's just a minor change proposed to the local road classification based on traffic volumes. In this case, local roads will now be classified as roads that typically have less than 1,000 vehicle trips per day, whereas previously the official plan noted as 1,500. In terms of public comments and received, there's been one comment received in form of a written request from SWM Limited on behalf of Waverly Homes. And this was a request for lands to be added to the settlement boundary. As previously discussed at the special council meeting, currently that there is, the process is not intended to contemplate site-specific amendments to the official plan. This includes requests for expansions to settlement area boundaries. This is a result of information from the county provided that indicates there is currently a sufficient land within the settlement boundaries of the municipality to meet the long-term needs for residential and employment uses. So in terms of next steps, we provide the opportunity to receive direction from council on these proposed policy changes. And in terms of moving forward with preparing a final draft of the official plan amendment. And this draft, or the final draft, would come forward at the statutory public meeting in August, and there'd be a presentation of these final policy changes and an overview of the process. And if approved, would proceed to further adoption by this local council, as well as approval from the Middlesex County. And that concludes the presentation at this time. At this point, I'd be happy to take questions from members of council.
Okay, if we can have the screen back. Thank you very much, Eric. Council, any questions you'd like to address to either Eric or Jay? Yes, Councillor Vink, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Your public comments about the settlement boundary. So that's just, I guess the county says we have enough land, so that's exactly where it goes. There's no further recourse on that.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. So as noted, typically during official plan reviews, there's opportunity for what's called a comprehensive review that would evaluate the land supply within municipality settlement area. And so the county has provided information that currently what the land within Southwest Middlesex settlement areas would be sufficient over the long-term planning horizon. And so additional lands would not be needed. And so in the future, that request could be made at a later date when a comprehensive review is undertaken to add those lands as part of the settlement boundary.
Thank you. Council, any further questions? Yes, Councillor Choi, please go ahead.
Thank you. I know this wasn't covered just now, but I was curious if we were going to consider severances of less than 100 acres. I think it was brought up a couple meetings ago. I was just wondering if that has been included in any of the comments.
It hasn't to date. It is still, it has been determined by county council that those severances were passed in principle for study, but when it came back to the floor, a weighted majority defeated that, Councillor Choi. But Eric, the question was directed towards you, and have you any response to that?
Through Mayor Mayhew, so it's my understanding that with that guess policies would have to be included within the county official plan for the South Middlesex Council to include a similar policy to ensure that this official plan is in conformity with the county official plan. So those policies need to be in place, and as I understand, would need to be, or the county official plan would need to have approval by the province before any kind of policy would come into effect. If such policy was included within the county official plan, there may be an opportunity at a later date that council could bring forward a housekeeping amendment to the official plan to update that policy when it is confirmed that it is actually in the county official plan. But at this time, we haven't reviewed any high policies regarding agricultural lot and reduced lot sizes within this official plan update.
Okay. Council, anyone else? I'm watching for hands here. Yes, Amy, Councillor Choi, please go ahead again.
Thank you. It was along a similar timeline. I believe they were talking about severances of surplus dwellings for agricultural land. And I think the timeline was 10 years. Can we confirm, are we moving that way as well? Or is that what county had decided?
Yes, please go ahead, Eric. Yeah.
Yes, this current official plan update does propose a change to a 10-year requirement that a dwelling existing on a farm parcel have existed for 10 years. Previously, it was just a set date, and so the intent of this is now to have sort of a rolling date that wouldn't have to be continuously updated over time. And this proposed policy would be consistent with both the county official plan and several other local municipalities within Middlesex County.
Okay. And we have a few minutes, Council. Any further questions? Eric, in regard to the public comment from Waverly Homes, I think planning policy has to make sense. And when you put boots on the ground and look at that piece of land, it's a very narrow strip of land bordered by a railway track, a cemetery, and a high school. Very like a ribbon piece of land almost. And it's right on the edge of this, right borders the settlement area. Are you indicating that public concern will be dismissed and will not be available for development?
I'm not saying that public comment has been dismissed, only that request was received. However, the information provided from the county is that there is sufficient land within the settlement area boundary, and so that an additional expansion would not be needed in terms of meeting the municipality's long-term needs. I would note that potentially, as part of this official plan review process, it does allow for minor expansions to settlement boundaries, provided that the overall net supply has not changed. And so there may be additional options available in the future long-term for that land to be developed. But under this current official plan review process, there are no proposed changes to the settlement boundaries.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Eric, would you like to continue on with the presentation then? Or you've come to your conclusion?
Yes, I've included my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, just wanted to bring closure. I didn't want to cut you off. I wanted to make sure that closure was there. Well, thank you very much, Jay. Thank you. I know you're the quiet guy sitting at the back, always looking over the shoulder. And before we leave, any comments, Mr. McGuffin?
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. It's always a pleasure to be here. Eric's done a wonderful job through the process. His explanations were on point. I had nothing to supplement. So no further comments. I am available to answer any questions that council may have. And I guess back to the point of the direction, if council is pleased with the proposed direction that the revisions are going, that we're going to be looking for council's direction to proceed to bring forth the official plan amendment as per Eric's presentation earlier this evening. If there is any request for reconsideration, we can take that back and incorporate that into the document before we bring the amendment forward for council's consideration.
Okay, thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you.
And for council, I think we can determine that element of business completed. And again, we thank both of you for coming to us. And I think we're in step 2 of 7 phases of this process. And we look forward to delving into the remaining 5. Council, there's no action to be required tonight on this. We perhaps we have one bylaw to confirm the proceedings of this special meeting of council on July 27th, 22. May I have a mover and a seconder to confirm that we have met as a council? Councillor McGill, seconded by Councillor Choi. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. And we can adjourn this meeting at 6:16. Thank you once again, everyone, and we look forward to seeing council return at 7 p.m. You have time for maybe a quick bite, hey?